Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. It's 11 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm Deepro, and I'm the Developer Success Lead here at monday.com. Today we'll be talking about Monday apps. If you've been connected to our product blog, you've probably seen this term used a lot, and I'm here to demystify the concept and tell you more about how Monday apps will change the way you work. We'll spend the first couple of minutes doing a little bit of housekeeping, just so that some other folks can join. This advanced webinar is aimed mainly for folks who are using the monday.com work OS to manage their organization. If you're a more basic users, no worries. There's plenty for you to learn today. However, if you want a more basic walkthrough, my colleague Maria is doing a basic training an hour after this one at 12 noon New York time or 4 p.m. UTC. So feel free to stay for this one and then join that one right after. If you're a developer looking to build apps, stay on and learn more about the Monday Apps framework as well as the Apps Challenge. But I did want to give you a heads up that we'll also have a separate webinar this time next week for developers. Now, as folks are joining, I'm seeing a ton of people joining. I would love for you to use the chat to tell me where you're from. I see a few folks have already joined and are letting me know. Rotterdam, Phoenix, Alpharetta, New Jersey, and so on. Someone's asking about the other webinars. There's a separate link. So after this webinar, you can go ahead and leave and join that one. Tel Aviv, New York. I'm in New York right now in my home office. Wow, lots of people answering this. This is great. I'm just reading through and looking. Albuquerque, Mexico City, a few folks from Tel Aviv, Toronto, Phoenix again, Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, Edmonton, Canada. This is awesome. It's so great to see so many folks joining. We're at 410 participants, which is really, really amazing. Let me go ahead and finish up some housekeeping, and then we can go into the main content of today's webinar. So to begin with, as you can see, the chat is blowing up. The chat will get filled up pretty fast, and I don't want to miss any of your questions. So please use the Q&A feature to ask any questions. We'll go ahead and answer them at the end of today's webinar. I also know that a lot of you are joining from your home networks. I personally am joining you from my home office, and this often comes with Wi-Fi issues. You know, the cat knocks over the router or something else. So if you have any issues with audio or video, please go ahead and first post in the chat. If you don't see a lot of other people posting at the same time, it means that the issue is probably only on your side. And then I would recommend leaving the webinar and then rejoining. 9 times out of 10, this is going to solve the issue. If I see a ton of people posting saying that they can't hear, then we'll do something about it as well. Alrighty, so let's now talk a little bit about our agenda for today. Today's webinar is all about Monday apps, specifically Monday apps for the end user, for someone who is using the monday.com work OS to manage their team. Today, we're going to talk about what a Monday app is. I'll talk to you a little bit about the Monday apps framework and how it'll change the way you use monday.com. And I'll also talk to you about how to install new Monday apps for your organization to use. Later in the webinar, I'll also discuss our Apps Builders Challenge and the amazing prizes for builders and users alike. Just a heads up, spoiler alert, the grand prize is a Tesla. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the things that can go into getting that Tesla. I'm also gonna share how you can share your app ideas with developers so that they can go ahead and build those apps in our challenge. Finally, we'll also leave some time for questions. I see we have 5 questions already in the Q&A, which is awesome. If you have anything as we go along, go ahead and add it to the Q&A and we'll get through them right at the end. I also wanted to give you a heads up that today's webinar is going to be a little bit shorter than usual. If you've joined our other webinars, they're about an hour long, and today's going to be 45 minutes. We're going to go through content for the first half, and then we'll spend the second half answering questions. All right, so let's talk about what a Monday app is. The monday.com work OS gives you a set of building blocks to enable your team to work better. You can drag and drop these elements to create a custom workflow in minutes. These building blocks include boards, dashboards, widgets, views, you name it. If you're already a monday.com user, you're familiar with these building blocks. Boards, dashboards, views, widgets, integrations, automations. We have a ton of different building blocks, and we really let users use them to create flexible workflows. Now, it's all fine and dandy to talk about these building blocks in concept, but I wanted to quickly go into my monday.com demo account and show you what these building blocks are. Alrighty, so now I'm in my demo account. I'm gonna go ahead and open up a board that I've prepared earlier. If you've been using monday.com for a while, you're familiar with this view. It's a board view, and it's really the bread and butter of any workflow inside monday.com. As you can see, the board, it has items on it. Each item has a set of columns. And this gives me a unified way to see the data inside this particular workflow. In the top left, you also have a drop-down menu to see board views. These are the building blocks that I'm talking about. Each board view lets you visualize the data on your board in a different and useful way. Let's take the chart view, for example. This particular chart view lets you summarize the data on your board. And in this one, what it's doing is it's taking the data in the execution column and telling me how many items are done, how many items are stuck, and how many items are being worked on right now. You can customize this chart view to display any report that you're looking for with the data in your monday.com account. A Monday app takes these features and it expands them, allowing you to supercharge your workflows and customize this monday.com workOS for your needs. Here's a specific app that we built that I wanted to show you. This is the word cloud app. The word cloud app is really, really great for let me go ahead and hit refresh. This word cloud app is great for any workflow that has a lot of text in it. Essentially what the word cloud app does is it takes all the text on your board and it creates a word cloud and makes the words that appear more frequently a little bit larger. So you can see that on my board, the word Monday gets used a lot, the word team gets used a lot, and I'm working on a lot of integrations. This is just one of the many apps that you can use, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how they work. So each Monday app bundles features together. These are these building blocks such as views, widgets, automations, and integrations. And it bundles them together to create a unified experience. Apps currently support 4 building blocks: custom board views, custom dashboard widgets to summarize data across multiple boards, automations to have actions in monday.com do something else also in monday.com, and integrations to sync data across all of your tools into your workOS. Later this year, we'll also release a Monday Apps Marketplace to be a one-stop shop for any tools your team needs to customize their monday.com workOS. Now, I keep talking about the word custom, but I want to drill into this a little bit more. All Monday apps are built on a developer toolkit called the Monday Apps Framework. And let's go ahead and talk about them for a little bit. The Monday Apps Framework is a set of tools that developers can use to build Monday apps. We're really proud of our platform and how flexible it is to enable any workflow, and we built the apps framework with this in mind. The apps framework gives developers tools to build any kind of app for any audience to leverage the monday.com building blocks to create absolutely anything, the app of your dreams. We let developers build views, widgets, integrations, and automations, and we also have a software development kit to make accessing your monday.com app, monday.com data from an app a breeze. So that's a little bit about the Monday Apps Framework. If you've been using monday.com for a while, you may have already been using Monday Apps without noticing it. I wanted to go back and show you a few apps that we built. The word cloud is one of them. And if you click on the Views Center in the top left and then click Add Views, you'll be able to see this icon called Apps. You'll also see the same thing when you're adding a new widget on a dashboard. If I click on this Apps button, I'll see all of the apps that were built by Monday. These are features that our R&D department built to help teams during the global coronavirus pandemic as they transition to remote work. They're built using the exact same developer tools that are now open for anyone to use. So if you wanted to rebuild the performance insights with a little bit of a change, you could do that. Everything is open for developers to use. If you're a developer and you want to learn more about the apps framework, you can do so by clicking on your avatar and hitting the developers section. This is where you can see the apps that you're building. And at the top, there are a ton of different links to our documentation and to our apps challenge and all sorts of other stuff. All right, so now that we have talked about what a Monday app is, let me talk to you about how you can find new Monday apps to install. We already have a few Monday apps that have been built by the wider community and that you can install on your account and use. We've been really excited to work closely with these organizations to help us build Monday apps that solve users' real needs. The main way developers have been sharing their apps is through the monday.com community. You can get there by going to community.monday.com. If you don't already have a profile in the community, I'd recommend creating one and joining the conversation. You can use the monday.com community for all things monday.com, but I want to focus in on the Monday apps and developers section. When you click on this section, you'll see a set of categories. Some of them are for developers asking questions about our apps framework, and some of them are for sharing Monday apps across the community. One category in particular that I'd like to bring attention to is the Share Your Monday Apps section. This is where developers have been sharing the apps that they've built, and we're looking forward to seeing more and more apps here in the future. In order to install any of these apps, you'll need an installation link. Once you have that link, an account admin can use it to install the app across your organization. These apps have also been built by external developers. And so depending on the app you want to install, you may need to contact them to get installation privileges for them to send you the link and so on. Now that we've talked about Monday apps and how to install them, let's talk about that Tesla. Alrighty, so this is the page for the Monday Apps Challenge, Dream It, Build It, and we're super excited to announce it today. We've partnered with a platform called DevPost to inspire builders to develop amazing Monday apps using our apps framework. We have three main categories in our apps challenge. The first is the app for marketplace. This is where the grand prize is a Tesla X. This particular category is for apps that can be used by any one of our 100,000 teams that are using monday.com for their daily work. The winner of this particular category will also be featured in our upcoming marketplace. The second category is an app for business. This is a category for a private app that is built with a specific business's internal needs in mind. And finally, we have a section for NGOs. This is where you can build an app that can help an NGO. And if you have one that really revolutionizes their workflow, you can create it and submit it in this category as well. I know that many of you on this call looking at the participant list are developers, and a few of you are also non-developers. If you or a colleague or a friend or a roommate are experienced developers, go ahead and send them this link. Who knows? You could win a Tesla, your neighbor could win a Tesla, and you could carpool. I mean, the possibilities are endless. If you want to learn more about the specifics of the challenge, you can also hit this register button, and it'll send you to monday.devpost.com, where you can look at the rules, you can participate, and so on. Now, if you're not a developer, but you have an idea for a monday.com app, that's awesome. You can share your idea with us and we'll make it visible to the monday.com developer community so they can build it. If you share your app on social media, we'll also donate $100 to an NGO in your name. Now, the goal behind the apps challenge is really to inspire people to build amazing apps that are built based on real user needs. What that means is I really recommend sharing your app ideas and the pain points that your team is facing so that builders can be inspired to create them. There are two main ways to share your app ideas. And honestly, I would recommend doing both so your idea can reach as many developers as possible. The first way is to submit your idea through our form. I'm going to go ahead and share this link in the chat so you can see it. Right here. And you can use that link to come up to this page and submit your ideas for apps. If your app is shared on social media and approved by our team, we'll donate $100 to an NGO. The second way that you can share your app idea is inside the community itself. So in the Monday Apps and Developers section, there's a Tell Us Your Apps Ideas section. And in here, there's a longer format, which means you can add a ton more detail to your app ideas. And of course, a more specific app idea means a developer is more likely to be inspired and build it. So go ahead and share your ideas in the community as well. As I mentioned before, if you share your idea on social, we'll donate $100 to an NGO. And we've been working really closely with 2 NGOs in specific who have been doing amazing work in the realms of educational and racial justice. We've teamed up with 2 NGOs, Black Girls Code and Achieve. And if you share your app idea on social and it's approved by our team, we will donate $100. Black Girls Code provides technology education to African-American girls, while Achieve connects low-income youth with academic support to help achieve upward mobility. They're both really, really great organizations. So fill out that form and we'll make a donation in your name. I'm gonna go ahead and share the page in the chat right here. And you can click on that and open up the form and submit your ideas. All right. Now that we've talked about the Monday Apps Framework and we've talked about the Apps Challenge, we're going to transition a little bit to questions. We still have about 20 minutes left, so I think we can get through all of these questions here. I also have Eliana on the, from the marketing team who can also answer any questions about the Apps Challenge that I don't have. Okay, so I'm going through and looking through the Q&A section. Okay, so a few folks are asking about the other sessions for a basic webinar. As I mentioned before, this is an advanced webinar, and if you're looking for something a little bit more basic, you can join one of our other webinars, and there's one happening in about 40 minutes. In order to get to that page, I'm gonna go ahead and show you our webinars page. If you go to monday.com/webinars, you can register for that particular walkthrough. This one in particular will be this Wednesday's at 12 p.m. EST walkthrough. I'm going to share this link in the chat as well. All right, thank you so much for your question. All right, so a few folks are asking about other webinars as well about how to build a monday.com app. So that's going to be next week. We're going to go through the Monday Apps Framework, and I personally am going to go through how to build an app and our monday.com software development kit. That's happening next week, and you can sign up right here. It's called the Monday Apps Framework for Builders. Okay, a few people are asking about examples of app ideas. So because we allow for builders to create views, widgets, automations, and integrations, the possibilities are pretty much endless. You can use views and widgets to create visualizations for your monday.com data. So if you had a specific process with a very specific report that only your boss uses, you can create a view that does that. Alternatively, you could create a board view that summarizes the data on your monday.com account in an interesting way. For example, checking the so-called velocity of your team and seeing how many tasks folks are doing on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis. All right.